Okay, so now we'll talk about the transplant nurse coordinator. Apparently, she's going to be my main contact from now on. So when they get together and discuss my case, she's going to be the one to call me and tell me what the ruling is. I'm probably about 75% certain they're going to say it's early and I don't need transplant at this time, but they'll still be following me and I'll still have to get a lot of blood tests and stuff to be monitored. Which is pretty much what the hepatologist was saying. She didn't say that I would probably get an early decision, but I think that's what's going to happen. So the transplant nurse coordinator comes in, and basically what happened with her is she was just doing intake. She got like my social security number. She's the one that started talking about the cannabis, the edibles and stuff. So, yeah. And she didn't have a copy of my mammogram, my pap smear, and my colonoscopy, and I did. So I gave them to her. She ran copies of them. And previously with the hepatologist, like the NASH FibroSure test, I had given her that so she could see my mitochondrial AMA to see that I do in fact have PBC, which she didn't have that test. So I'm glad that I happen to have those in the binder ready for the doctors. One of them, I can't even remember which one, said that most people aren't as prepared as I was, which was nice to hear. But it does tell you in the literature to bring those things with you, so I'm not sure why other people wouldn't have been prepared. It says there in black and white, but I guess they just expect doctors to have access to the stuff, and I do expect, and they did for the most part. But because everything in my history right now is just cobbled together from different doctors, this doctor my PCP wasn't available to help me, so I went to urgent care. I have a new PCP, all the networks, from UCLA to my doctor to, just everything right now is sort of like, the binder I have is a pretty complete picture of it, but like the binder isn't going to help my doctors really. But hopefully all of this will get consolidated with my new PCP, with finally going to the evaluation, so it won't be so disparate as far as information goes. So that'll be nice. Yeah, she was telling me, the transplant coordinator was telling me, like, yeah, we're, going into the decision process and stuff. There wasn't really a lot to it other than that. She just asked a lot of questions. She told me what my insurance was requiring, what it wasn't. She says I have good insurance, and I do, because I am top of the line insurance available through my employer. At least for this year. Next year I plan to bring it back down to the second tier. With, I have the PPO. I always had a PPO, but now I have like, the $200 a month insurance, where I'd like to go back down to the $100 a month. $100 a check insurance next year, if possible, because this is really hard. This is taking a lot out of me, all of it, financially, emotionally, physically. I slept till like 10:30 today. I'll do that sometimes nowadays, especially when I don't sleep at night, but I'm not used to it. It's weird to wake up in the double digits for me. It's like I've already slept half the day away. So those 3 appointments were in the same room. They just knocked on the door. Oh, at one point, it's a maze, and everybody who works there even says it's a maze. I guess it's kind of a new place. So I went to the bathroom at one point, and I came back and I didn't remember where the room was. I remembered the hallway, but like I kept opening doors for strangers. I'm like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. And then finally I just sort of wandered around aimlessly until somebody said, can I help you? Which is usually what happens to me in my life, even in foreign countries. Like, somebody will come up and ask me if I need help. It's just the way it is. I think I have this lost puppy dog look or something. And so whoever she was, I don't even know if she worked there. She went and she found the nurse station, and and one of the nurses basically walked me back to my room, which was just on the other side of the hallway from the doors that I had opened to strangers. But I'm sure it happens a lot, especially because like there's no distinguishing marks on the doors. You just kind of have to make a note of the number, which I'll know for next time. And after that, we went to the cafeteria because it was over like at 11. It was 9:30 to 11ish, and then I didn't have another appointment until 2, which was, what was my last appointment? Oh man, what was it? Let me look on my chart. Sorry. Maybe I should have waited a little bit. Social worker. Oh, that poor social worker. She was so great too. She was apparently a floating social worker. And she was more concerned, she was concerned with a lot, just social worker stuff. She said she wanted to get to know me. She's not going to be my main social worker, but I can access her for information. She's fine with that. She talked a lot to my primary caregiver who was there with me, and she's going to try to talk to my secondary one who lives in New York, who wasn't able to be there. And thankfully, my friend is really proactive and really helpful, so she's actually calling the social worker rather than having me be the go-between. It was her idea. I would have been totally happy to be the go-between, but she's willing to like call and make appointments for me, but I really haven't needed that because UCLA, they call me and they tell me what appointments I'm going to do. They're not collaborating with me. They're telling me, this is when you're going to be here, and that's fine. I'm good with that. So that's kind of a load off, and she's already tried to get in touch with her. So they'll touch base, and it'll just be more of like, are you really sure that you can do this? Which was the gist of it, because taking care of somebody, like having to help somebody shower and walk just to the kitchen is a lot. It's a lot. And I'm super motivated to not be, I don't want to use an insensitive word, but not to be unable to take care of myself. So I foresee their problems being more like, sit the fuck down. Sorry about my language, but like that's what I foresee being more the issue than like, come on, let's go get you in the shower. Yeah. So that's a particular set of challenges because I'm very stubborn, and I'll wait till they're not looking, and then I'll do the thing anyway. So that's something I have to work on. If it ever becomes necessary, it doesn't seem like it will be now. I did ask at one point about Live Liver, if they're ever going to restart that. And it was the hepatologist I asked, and she said, yeah, we were in the midst of training. What the reason that they don't do it is because basically every doctor has to be trained in it, because it's all hands on deck. Because, you have 2 different people doing the surgery at once. And while they are in the middle of doing training, there's no date that they're going to start it up again. But considering my transplant, if I need one, will be in the future, it might work out for me to get a live one, so I won't be on the list forever, ideally. I have about a minute left. I'm not sure if there's anything else left to say. It was not as scary as I thought it would be, but of course it never is it? Who knows what I was picturing, like I was going into a dungeon or something. I don't know. I mean, it's just a doctor's office and doctor visits. It wasn't as invasive as I thought it would be. I thought they would be asking like crazy personal questions, and they really weren't. They just really were concerned about the liver, which is great. And cannabis doesn't seem to be a big deal to them at all. Only one person even said they might ask me to stop. That was the input nurse, and even she said, like I said, they do ask people to switch to edibles, which I already do. I've got less than 30 seconds left. I think that's about it. I guess I will let you know how the psych appointment goes later. Other than that, yeah, it was fine. It will be fine next Tuesday, and it'll be fine at the end of March. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.